Good morning, boys and girls. It's Thursday, and I am here to show you the activities for today on our learning mat. So we are on Thursday, and both activities are Think It Out. The top activity has to do with a clock. So I drew myself a handy-dandy clock here so I can help solve this story problem. Boys and girls, I know we haven't learned elapsed time yet. If you have an adult around that can help you, that would be great. Or keep listening and I'm going to walk you right through it. So it says Mrs. Marsh gets to school at 6:45 a.m. Yikes, that is early. So I am going to draw the hands on my clock to show 6:45, and it says she teaches her class and leaves 9 hours and 45 minutes later. So that means our hour hand has to go around the clock 9 times. So if it went around the clock 9 times, it will go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So the hour hand would be on the 3, and the minutes would have to move 45 minutes later. So let's just count. And remember, when we count around the clock, each number we go up by 5. Okay, so we have 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. Okay, so that was 45 minutes. Do you remember what it means when the minute hand is on the 6? That means it's 30 minutes. So Miss Marsh would leave at 3:30. But would that be AM or PM? What time do you think it would be when she left school? It would be PM. And we can also tell it would be PM because when we were counting those hours, we passed the 12 o'clock. So 12 o'clock would be lunchtime, and that's when it turns to PM. So she would leave school at 3:30 PM. All right, let's move to our ELA activity for today, and it's about writing a story about a rainbow. Now it says write an informational story about a rainbow. Informational story means it's a true story, boys and girls, not a made-up fantasy story. So you need to give facts. So it says begin by writing a topic sentence followed by 3 facts about rainbows and end with a closing sentence. So I gave you some tips and pointers here on my little sheet. So remember, we talked about bold beginnings, and that's a fun way to start any piece of writing. You can start with a question, an I wonder, a fact, imagine this, or a sound. Now, all of these aren't going to make sense in this story. For instance, I think sound would be a little bit hard for this one, but maybe you could say, imagine looking out your window and seeing a big rainbow in your backyard. Or you can start by telling me a fact. Did you know that rainbows are made up of 7 different colors? Okay, so use one of those as you start your story, and then you're going to write 3 facts. So maybe you tell me the colors that are made up in a rainbow. Maybe you tell me how a rainbow appears. What do you have to have a rainbow appear? And maybe you tell me something else that you know about rainbows. Maybe you can ask an adult to help you go on Google really quick, and maybe you can find out something else that's interesting about rainbows that you didn't know before. And then when you're done, With your 3 facts, you're going to do a closing sentence, and that's just a sentence that kind of lets the reader know that we're done writing our story. And I wrote one here. You can copy it if you'd like, or you can do something similar. I hope you learned a lot about rainbows. So that's something just quick for you to use as you're going through your learning maths today. Today, you might choose to do a writing activity on your choice board. Now, I know there's only 2 days left in the week, so depending on when you started, you might be on a different day. Also, because if you didn't start until today and there's 3 activities, that means you can pick your favorite 2 for this week. That's completely fine. I am just going to give you a demo on this first one. So write a story about a leprechaun. Now, boys and girls and parents, there is a page in your packet for each one of those stories. This very first page is draw and label a story about a leprechaun. They give you some words to look at so you know how to spell them. What I would do is to write first and draw last, okay? You can use these few lines on the front, and on the back of this same page, you will see a whole page of writing, and you know you're on the right page because it has the same sentence of the activity that you're supposed to do for the day, okay? So write a story about a leprechaun. Maybe you can take ideas from the story That's What Leprechauns Do that I read out loud the other day. If you didn't watch that story or listen to that story, go ahead and do that, and maybe it'll give you some ideas for your story. And then you can draw a picture that goes with your story. Parents, quick tip, when the kiddos are doing their writing, I usually say 5 good sentences. Now, what qualifies as a good sentence? Definitely has a capital letter at the beginning, appropriate punctuation at the end, and I'm trying to get the kiddos to use 6 or 7 words per sentence if possible. An example I gave the other day was I try to steer the kiddos away from using a sentence like, I went to the store. Maybe they can add some detail. Who did you go to the store with? What did you buy at the store? What store did you go to? What time did you go to the store? So things like that. So at least 5 sentences with 6 to 7 words in each sentence. Okay? All right. After writing, maybe you are going to do your fiction choice board. And we are on week 1. Okay? So I'm just going to demonstrate the first activity today, and it says write about your favorite part of the story and explain why you liked it. You can still use the story That's What Leprechauns Do from the other day, or you can use the story Rosie Revere, Engineer. Maybe it's a story that you read on your own. If I were doing the leprechaun story, again, just because I talked about that earlier, I would say that my favorite part of the story was when the leprechauns gave the yellow ball to the hen so she could surprise the farmer and make her think that she laid a ball instead of an egg. So that's what I would write. When you're writing it down, if you notice this little title says write, okay, and on the back of the very first page, the title at the top also says write. So that's how you know you're using the right response sheet, okay? So after reading, write about your favorite part of the story and explain why you liked it. When you are finished, illustrate it. So maybe you're just going to write me a couple of sentences. Please, more than 1 sentence, maybe 2. And then draw a quick picture of the scene in the story or a picture that goes with the sentences that you wrote me. Okay. Boys and girls, I hope that helped you out. If you have any questions, please let me know. Another quick reminder, for every 20 minutes you read each day, don't forget to fill in a coin on the pot of gold. And don't forget to do your reflex math and fill in your green bubble. Also, just a reminder that this 3 in a row board down here at the bottom, that is optional. You can do an activity if you choose. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I look forward to talking to you soon. Bye-bye.